on the first negative, and I will pretty much be rebutting. Alright, so my opponent talked about palliative care, and as we all know, he kind of explained it. It's kind of like morphine and stuff like that to ease the pain. So pretty much, a simple solution to this would be just to increase our, or to put more, to make our palliative care better. That way we can ease the pain and so they don't have to rely solely on euthanasia. And here in the United States, we have something called hospice. Now, hospice is kind of like palliative care for people who are dying or at the end of their days. And as of 2008, approximately 900,000 people in the United States were utilizing hospice every year, with more than 1/3 of dying Americans utilizing this service. That only leaves about 2/3 or less that were dying that were not using this. If we raise awareness of this, of hospice and things like that, then people don't have to use euthanasia, because hospice actually is a very good program we have here in the United States to help our people who are dying, help grandma and grandpa who are like at the end of their days. Another thing is that he talks about how palliative care is not very effective, yet if we allow euthanasia, euthanasia will undermine palliative care. It will only make it worse. Wesley Smith, anti-euthanasia activist, wrote in his 1997 book, Forced Exit, studies show that hospice-style palliative care is virtually unknown in the Netherlands, where euthanasia is legal. There are very few hospice facilities, very little in the way of organized hospice activity, and few specialists in palliative care. Although some efforts are now underway to try and jumpstart the hospice movement in that country, the widespread ability of euthanasia in the Netherlands may be another reason for the stunned growth of the Dutch hospice movement. As one Dutch doctor reported to have said, "Why would I worry about palliation when I have euthanasia?" What this means is that in the Netherlands, where euthanasia is allowed, there's less emphasis on palliative care and hospice. And if euthanasia is allowed here, then we sooner or later would just be like, well, just let him die. I mean, let's just kill him off. Another thing that he talks about is if we allow it, it will cause a problem where we won't be able to trust our doctors anymore. How would you feel to go into your doctor and he tells you, well, you have 3 months to live? And then he kind of like, euthanasia is allowed, so he either gives you 2 options. He's going to tell you, okay, look, you can just live your 3 months, or I could just end it right now. And you really won't be like, you can't really trust him because you already know he's kind of like aiming more for just killing you off, so it could be easier process. Burnham, professor of philosophy at the City University of New York, wrote in his book, in 1998 book, Physician-Assisted Suicide, Expanding the Debate. Doctors must not engage in assisting suicide. They are inheritors of a valuable tradition that inspires public trust. None should be even partly responsible for the erosion of that trust. Nothing that is remotely beneficial to some particular patient is extreme work to the damage that will be created by the perception that physicians sometimes aid and even act people in taking their own lives. Another thing, if euthanasia is allowed, another quote from Berman is another claim that if euthanasia is allowed, what will happen is it's not a doctor's duty to perform euthanasia. It's their duties are to help us. So it never was in their contract, or when they became a doctor, to for them to kill us or anything like that. Their main purpose is to help us and not to hurt us. So another quote by this same man, he says, "Nothing, absolutely nothing, requires our physicians to be the instrument of society. The physician's task is to tell the patient what's wrong and to the best of the doctor's ability what is going to happen. The physician's job is to heal the sick, to stave of death, and to stay as best as she can what the future will be like for each particular patient. The physician gets to be the helpless person, medical guy, because he or she is trusted to hold the patient's good upmost, and patient's good does not include death." He also talked about the doctrine double effect, and he said how there's a loophole in it, and like how people are actually using that to kill their patients. First of all, what this doctrine of double effect, it shouldn't be used as a loophole. First of all, it should be used to help patients. The doctrine of double effect pretty much
it's supposed to help the patients, and even though some people are actually using it as a loophole to try to kill their patients off, they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. They should be using that to help their patients, not to kill them. Kevin Gilliam, former chief of staff at Mercy Hospital, San Diego, wrote in his article, Double Effect, Getting the Argument Right, that appeared in the Commonwealth. The principle of double effect is an ethical pillar of therapy for terminal illness, and validating it promotes human care for the dying. The more broadly it's grasped and practiced, the less effective will be the vision of physicians, erasing the most basic commandment of the profession: first, do no harm. My opponent also spoke about how relieving pain and things like that. Well, one of the main reasons why people resort to euthanasia is not because of pain. Actually, it's they resort to euthanasia for a lot of different reasons. In a study where they studied 35 families that were members of family members that were who one of their family members actually did euthanasia, and they asked them why they thought he did it, and the results showed that 69% of the families said that the reason they seek euthanasia was because of feeling weak, tired, and uncomfortable. 66% of the 35 families said it was because of loss of function, and only merely 40% of the 35 families said it was because of pain or unacceptable side effects of pain medication. So as you see, a lot of people don't really resort to euthanasia because of pain. It's a lot of different other reasons, and I think if you're resorting to euthanasia because you're depressed or because you don't see your purpose anymore, I think that's more on the side of suicide. So I think you would need better mental help for that. And